If you invested in Dubai real estate between 2020 and 2023, congratulations, because you witnessed the golden age of the UAE real estate market. Almost any property, even the lowest quality by Dubai standards, was growing during the post-COVID boom, and the numbers look too good to be true. But every party has to come to an end, and I will now explain what exactly is changing. First, quick flips. They're dead. Previously, this was a golden mine thanks to developers and their flexible payment plans. You could buy an off-plan property, pay just a small part of the price, and resell it with a markup just a few months later. For example, you bought a property for 1 million dirhams. You paid 30% over several months and then sold it for 1.3 million, that is 300,000 more. You invested 300,000 and earned 300,000. That's a 100% return. This no longer works. First, the market has changed. Second, developers have started putting barriers in place for quick resales. For a flip to work, the market has to grow very fast and the property must be truly unique. But when the number of new off-plan projects increases, the share of unique properties decreases. Now you don't even have to wait long for the next launch, they come one after another. And not every project sells out quickly, so developers increasingly have many unsold units left. So why would anyone buy property from you if they can buy it directly from a developer and perhaps even at a lower price? And even if you have an excellent property and people are willing to buy it from you still at the construction stage, developers have greatly complicated this process. Each developer has their own rules, but in general, you cannot resell the property until you have paid a certain share. Some set this threshold at 50% or higher, and that's not all. It's one thing when you can't make money, it's quite another when you cannot sell the property below the purchase price. Because, I repeat, the developers have the power to prevent you from doing so. To sell a property, you need an NOC, a No Objection Certificate. It is issued by the developer. And now there are cases when developers simply don't issue these certificates. If you sell below the price at which you bought, it affects them because all transaction data in Dubai is transparent. And in this video, I explained how you yourself can view analytics on the Dubai real estate market. This is basically foundational knowledge that anyone who wants to buy real estate in Dubai should master. Be sure to watch it. So, developers don't want the market price of their properties to go down because they need to launch the next construction phase at a price 10% higher. Now that that is sorted out, let us now discuss the myth of a real estate bubble in Dubai. Everyone is shouting that the market is overheated and the prices will soon collapse. But that's not entirely true. There is no oversupply at the level of the entire Dubai market. The key point here is that oversupply in Dubai exists only at the level of individual segments. For example, in certain areas, like the one that is the most commonly cited, JVC. This area has been a profitable investment over the past few years, high rental income and decent price growth. But now the number of properties under construction is so large that even agents in Dubai publicly express concerns over future returns. Currently, there are 45,000 completed units in JVC, and approximately 35,000 are still under construction. All of them are expected to be completed within the next 3 years. And such a massive inflow of supply is not good news for investors. And the growing competition leads to two negative consequences. First, sales and rentals take longer because users have more options. Second, even owners of high-quality properties start to find it harder to increase prices. Previously, you had a unique apartment. Now it's still good, but another 10,000 similar ones have appeared nearby. Therefore, in JVC and in other areas with a similar situation, you will have a problem if you own an ordinary average property. If your property stands out, then everything will be okay. Do not expect, though, that you will outperform the market. But let me add a little optimism to the sea of negativity. It is very likely that many buildings will not be completed on time. Currently in Dubai, 65% of all planned buildings are at 20% or less completion stage. Therefore, in my opinion, the actual growth in the housing units will be more gradual than stated in the plans. But I don't want to paint everything in dark colors. There is also a positive factor here. In the background, more and more distressed deals are taking place. It is when the apartment owner urgently sells it below market price. Often it is because they bought several apartments hoping to flip them quickly but failed. The next payment is already due, but there's not enough money to pay. And this is exactly why such deals exist. As a result, you acquire property at a price which is from 3 years ago and is about to be completed or is already completed. I'll say right away that finding such deals on your own is unrealistic. That's exactly why we have a team. Just leave us a request via the link in the description or simply text us on WhatsApp. Our agents will select the best property for you based on your request. Point 2. There's another thing that worries many investors, the fact that off-plan is more expensive than ready property. And here I see two opposing positions. Agents who sell off-plan say that this is exactly how it should be, because new buildings are better than old ones, and all tenants and buyers will prefer to move there. Therefore, the price difference is justified. At the same time, agents who sell ready property say that this doesn't make much sense, because when you buy off-plan, you take on more risks. You don't know how long the construction will take or what quality the building will be. In addition, you don't earn rental income while the building is under construction. So who's right? Well, I believe that both are. But I also believe that this issue is not that important. First, ready and under construction properties are two completely different markets. The secondary market is dominated by mortgage buyers, often residents. The off-plan market is mainly made up of foreign investors who cannot get a mortgage and in many cases will never live in this property. As a result, the factors that shape prices do not coincide. Second, the opinion that off-plan has suddenly become more expensive recently than ready property is incorrect. Just look at the comparison chart of price per square foot. Both the average market figures and data for specific areas show the same picture. Off-plan has been and remains more expensive than ready property for many years, and the relative price difference remains approximately the same. Although there are exceptions. In some areas, prices of off-plan and ready properties are indeed close, and these are master communities, which are large integrated districts. Here, new and old buildings are quite similar in quality. Therefore, the developer's strategy of raising the prices with each new launch leads to the fact that ready properties also continue to grow in value. I want to separately highlight different approaches in the market using the example of one recent deal. I may even record a separate episode about it later. I am generally a big fan of rentals in Dubai. It is quite realistic to find rental properties here with ROI at around 7% plus price growth potential of the apartment itself. It is ideal to buy such apartments just before handovers. And let me show you the math using the example of just one apartment. The first owner bought the apartment for 1.9 million dirhams, waited for 3 years and then sold it to the second owner for 2.1 million dirhams just 2 to 3 months before the handover of the property. So the first one earned over 200,000 in 3 years, and the second one seemingly bought it 200,000 more expensive but will recoup the difference in 1.5 years of rent. This property can be easily rented out for 150k a year, plus he remains the owner of an apartment that continues to grow in value. Plus, rental contracts themselves grow both in number and in price every year. So think about what's more profitable for you. Both strategies work. Third, and this is the most important point that I want to make today. If you invest in real estate with the goal of achieving high capital growth and outperforming the market, then comparing off-plan to ready property does not matter to you at all. The best way to achieve accelerated price growth is to invest in properties with a value gap. In my opinion, this is exactly what investors should be doing now, and what they should always have been doing. There are projects at the planning stage that cost significantly less than ready equivalents. Most often, they are located in new areas at an early stage of development. But we have seen similar situations in fully developed communities as well, where projects were clearly better than the neighboring ones, yet still cheaper. And it's not about budget. Such opportunities exist both for investments of $250,000 and for investments of $100 million. And overall, ask yourself the question, can Dubai real estate fail to grow in the long term with such projects and plans that are already being implemented? A 90-plus kilometer pedestrian ring around Dubai, a new shopping mall, Creek Mall, the largest in the world, 3 times bigger than Dubai Mall, development of transport, new districts, and recreational zones, plus active population growth. People continue to move to Dubai en masse for the quality of life, climate, safety, and low taxes. Expats come for long term, they need housing for rent or purchase. According to statistics, demand is steadily growing. The market is not stagnating, but quite the contrary, it continues to expand.